Roy, you've just named your squad for the forthcoming games with Moldova and Ukraine. Start of a big few weeks for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very important. It's a very tight group, ours, but I'm lucky in the sense that we have 3 of the 4 matches at home, and I'm just hoping I'm going to be lucky that the squad that I've selected, and hope that, we'll keep with us during these 4 games, that the players will stay fit and be available, because I think it looks very strong on paper.
Yeah, we made a very good start to the season against Scotland earlier this month. Take that belief and spirit into these 2 games. It'll be a great boost as well. Yeah,
I think the belief will be there. The spirit will certainly be there. There's no question that the spirit, the desire, the wanting to do well and the wanting to win, that's a given really. But of course, it's a question of whether you can reproduce the quality of the performance. Create the goal chances, take the goal chances, and defend well when you've lost the ball.
There's 2 new faces in the squad that you've picked, in Ross Barkley and Andros Townsend. They've both obviously impressed you. Ross with the under-21s earlier, and of course Andros in the Premier League. Yep,
Andros I thought has started the season very well, but actually finished it very well also. When he went on loan to Queen's Park Rangers, he made a big effort in the efforts to keep QPR up. Raheem Sterling has had one very, very brief outing with us, but again, a player who impressed me enormously in the under-21 game, and working with him during the build-up to the under-21 game. And of course in his start to the season, where he hasn't actually started games, but when he's come on, he's made a big impact, and I know that Brendan Rodgers and the Liverpool people think he's a very good one.
Yes, of course, people like Will Zaha have gone back down to the under-21s, and Raheem's come up. Is that something that's important? You think that the players who are eligible for both can interchange between the 2 sides?
I'd rather like to think or hope that they don't see it as movements up and down. Obviously, if you're I'd like these players to consider themselves under-21 players who every now and again get a chance to come in and work with the first team and impress, and hopefully impress enough that they will definitely stay there, as to some extent Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain did when he got an early chance in the Euros. But it's going to be very important that the players don't start seeing it, right, I'm under 21, but now I've been given a chance in the first team squad. That means I'm no longer an under 21 player. I expect them to consider themselves still as players who are pretty much guaranteed a place in the England under-21 squad, but at the moment, if they're lucky and play well enough, might even get a chance to show the seniors what they can do. That's how it should be, and there's no criticism of Wilfried Zaha. He was playing well in the pre-season, had got some rave reviews. I thought it was important that we brought him in and gave him a chance to show what he could do. Since then, he hasn't had such a chance to play for Manchester United. Now the season's begun. So we've turned to somebody else to give him that opportunity. But Wilfried Zaha and John Joe Shelby, another player, for example, they remain very much on our radar.
Looking forward to the games. First up is Moldova here. We had a good win against them in our first match of the qualifiers. Probably be a different scenario this time. They'll expect to have to break them down.
Yeah, it won't be easier, but I think we've got the firepower to do it. And they're a better team now than they were in that opening game. It was our opening game and their opening game. And we actually played very well that day and took our chances well. And maybe the scoreline, it doesn't flatter us because we did play that well on the night. But I don't really think that Moldova are a team that gets beaten 5-0, and that's been proven with their results against the other teams in the group. So we're fully aware of how difficult the task will be. But that's what qualifying is about. That's what these matches, there'll be lots and lots of teams on Friday night going into matches knowing we've got to perform, knowing we need a result. Otherwise, our chances of qualification, grow dimmer.
We then fly off to Kiev for Ukraine, a team that we know quite well. We've played them a couple of times over the last year or so, in a stadium that you know well as well.
Well, that might help a little bit, but I mean the bottom line with Ukraine is they're a good team. They've got good players. Like ourselves, they're a well-balanced team. They've got a good blend of youth and experience, and furthermore, they've been together as a team for a while, and their last result, I suppose, is an enormous boost to them by beating Montenegro 4-0 away from home. It gives you an enormous boost to your confidence. So, you know, we're going there at a time when their tails are up. But that's also part of football. You know, you've got to deal with all those situations. You know, it's going to be 11 against 11, and we've got to hope that our 11 can play better than theirs on the night.
Yeah, how do we approach both of the games? You know, there's only 4 left, and the group's really opened up. So, at what stage does it become, you know, a must-win scenario for you?
Well, I suppose it becomes a must-win scenario when you're playing a game where you know that if you don't win it, you're not going to qualify. And that would mean, of course, being outside of the top 2, because you're not going to be aware that we have no chance of qualifying if you're second in the group, because you will get a bite of the cherry in the playoffs. But as far as I'm concerned, that's when my idea of the must-win game will kick in, when if we don't win it, we've got no chance of reaching Brazil, and I'm rather hoping that won't ever happen, and it certainly won't happen after Friday night.